Am I gonna seem like I don't know what I'm talking about? No, I got it. No, cut that out. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Selenia for those who are new, and welcome back to those that have been to my channel before. Today for you, as you can read by the title, I have 10 tips to pass nursing school. But when I was going through the tips, I feel like a lot of them I also used during my undergrad career. So I feel like you can go for grad school, undergrad, nursing, non-nursing, whatever it is. So if you want to hear these 10 tips, make sure you keep watching. Let's get into the video. Okay, so I decided to put all of my tips on my iPad because they were on my phone, but I need that to actually film the video. So we're gonna start up with tip number 1, which is probably super simple, would be to study, study, study. So I feel like having to study is something that you need to do. It's for a field that you're going into that you're going to need all this information for when you do have that become a career. And as I mentioned earlier, I think it is especially important for nursing school because you need that information that you learn in nursing school to then go on for a test for the NCLEX for you to be able to be called a registered nurse. And then you need all of that information that you learn in school to actually be a nurse in practice. So I think actually knowing the information that you know is the best thing for you. And if you study during nursing school, that study time that you use to study for the NCLEX or that you use for whatever exam you have to take, whether it be the GRE, the MCAT, whatever it is, you'll have less time to study because it's information that you already know. Number 2, I think would be, it's probably kind of hard now when it comes to a lot of virtual school if people haven't already met people who are in their cohort or students who are also at their school. But I say forming a support group or like a study group. These people will help you test your knowledge on if you know something or not. You're able to ask them questions and you don't always have to go to your professor for like a super minimal question. You can also help test each other. Sometimes people like to have someone who isn't in that field test them, but I honestly think that it's best if you have someone who is in that field to test you because they know what type of questions to ask you. They know if you're saying the right information or not, rather than just sitting there and being like, yep, you're right, when they don't know if you're right or not. So I think that would be super important. Also having somebody to lean on when you have a hard test, and maybe that test wasn't just hard for you, it was hard for them too. So being able to lean on them would be important, as well as using them or having them to celebrate those victories with. So when you pass that NCLEX, cross my fingers, when you pass that, you can celebrate with someone else who also was in the same exact boat as you. They were in the same program as you. They studied with you, all things like that. So just being able to form that friendship, I think, is super duper important. Okay, tip number 3 would be to figure out your learning style. So figure out, how do you learn best? Are you a visual learner? Do you need to see videos when it comes to the content that you're learning if it's available? Are you okay with just hearing the words or just reading it from the text? Do you need to listen to the PowerPoint slides? Let's say that you need to do that, and then just listen, and then after that, then you decide to write down the notes while you're listening. What works best for you? A lot of the times, as they have a lot of videos, I think that are especially important for nursing when it comes to procedures and stuff like that, would be to look at videos, but that's just my personal opinion. Like, let's say a paracentesis or trach suctioning or anything like that. I like to look in the book to learn about how it is after reading the words, and then actually being able to see that visually, I think helps me because I need the muscle memory. That's what I need. I need to go through the motions multiple times so I can get it. Other things I feel like, do you need to type notes? Do you need to handwrite notes? A lot of studies have shown that typing or handwriting notes are better for it to like stay in your brain, get sucked into your brain compared to typing. But who knows, whatever works best for you. Okay, number 4, I feel like is super important. I wanted to put it at the top of the list because a lot of people just forget about this altogether. But I would say self-care. Self-care, I think, is one of the most important things while you're in school, especially in nursing school. Nursing school can be very stressful. You're studying for long periods of time with no real breaks in the middle because after this exam, you have another exam and another exam, and then you have clinical, and then you have to go to simulation lab or whatever you have to do. So I think self-care is super important. Do something that you like to do, whether it's going to the gym to get some stress off of your body and just run all of that stress away, which I used to do before COVID, but now we're not going to talk about it because when was the last time I saw a gym? Okay, but self-care, other things that I started to do was taking time after study to watch a movie, spending time with family. You don't always have to say no when people want you to do things because you're in nursing school or you're in college. Make sure you make that time for other people, because if you go so hard, you are going to burn out. I don't care what anybody says. And you also want to keep those people who are super close around you. So I feel like have that self-care time, and when you do that, make sure you just study appropriately. So when you are actually hanging out with those people, you don't feel bad, you don't feel guilty, that's not in the back of your mind. So number 4 is self-care. Tip number 5, which I also feel like is super important. I feel like all of these are important, which is why I try to limit it to 10, like for you to get like the top 10, you know? But number 5 would be to be organized. I think that comes with nursing school, it comes with any type of school that you're in. I live by my planner. I would go up to get my planner, but if you watch any of my videos before, you've seen it already. It's super cute. I color code everything that I'm doing. I'm no longer in school because I graduated nursing school, but I do use that planner religiously when it comes to all the things that I need to complete for the day when it comes to studying for the NCLEX. I want to take the NCLEX one time if possible, and me using my planner helps me stay organized. A lot of the times there's a lot of things that are due and a lot of assignments that are due in a short period of time, and you don't want to forget one assignment and then boom, you get a 0 for that, and that can hurt your grade either significantly or even a little bit. But if it's something that you could have gotten points for, then you want to get those points. So I say using a planner, a Google Calendar, writing it down, sticky notes. A lot of people put sticky notes on their computer or using multiple areas. So I like to put a sticky note on my computer, like you can create a notes on like your MacBook or whatever, not an actual sticky note, but I guess you can do that too. And then I also like to write it down in my planner, and when I finish it, I love to just be able to cross that off of my list. Just having the satisfaction of finishing something feels really good to me, and when I look at my planner and I see there's not a check mark or a slash through it, I get a little panicked. So I think that using a planner, any type of planner, any type of organizational skill, you just have to find what's best for you. Watch videos of certain tasks that you need to know. And I think although some people are not always visual learners, being able to actually see what somebody's doing, whether you're a visual learner or not, is important. And I think that finding different resources to help that learning sink in is super important. And you have the text about the procedure, and then you can watch the task. That's pretty similar to the learning style that I mentioned earlier. But like when we use our textbooks, make sure you use those resources, because guess what, sweetie? You paid for those resources. Those video resources, you paid for those. So make sure you use them to watch them. Otherwise, it's kind of your money just getting thrown out the window because you don't actually utilize that skill or that thing that they have in that textbook. Also, watching YouTube videos. Watching those is super important. I lived on the YouTube videos, like registered nurse or registered RN, whatever her name is what helped me get through school. So I would say watching certain videos and being able to see those step-by-step instructions that you need to complete the task. Okay, number 7 is don't be afraid to ask for help. I know pride gets in the way. My pride gets in the way all the time. I'm like, do I really want to ask this question? Am I going to seem like I don't know what I'm talking about? No, I got it. No, cut that out. Like, what you need to do is you need to ask the questions that you need to know the answers to. Because if you don't ask those questions, then later on, you're not going to get the information and you're going to have it wrong in your head. The professor is there to help you. You have a professor because you don't know this knowledge yet. It's just something that you don't know, so they are there to teach it to you. They know the answers too, because guess what? They make the test. Majority of the time, your professor or some faculty at your university makes that test. So being able to ask some questions, clarify, using them for studying. A lot of the times in nursing school, we had a professor and she would let you meet with her every week just to review content. Especially difficult content if it was part of your class, like Patho or Adult 2 or whatever class you're in, you were able to meet with someone at least once a week. Also, it's important to utilize your TAs, especially going through your exam answers. So sometimes your professors let you go through the exam answers, or sometimes the teacher's assistants are the ones that go through the exam answers with you. And that also helps you gain more knowledge because you saw what you did wrong, you saw what you did right, and they're able to explain, but you're also able to talk through the question on why you got it wrong. And then you'll be better for the future, because once you see that question you got wrong, you're like, I'm never going to forget that again. Tips. But tip number 8 is to start studying for your NCLEX the last few semesters of school. So my school was 5 semesters long, and the last semester we used Kaplan when it comes to studying for the NCLEX, and we had a whole class that was dedicated to studying for the NCLEX. You want to start as early as possible because you want to pass that test. I'm real nervous with myself, but it costs $200 to take that test, and who wants to waste $200 and do it all over again and then spend more time to study and all that type of stuff? So if you start early, it'd be really good, because sometimes the nursing exams and NCLEX exams are definitely different, and you want to try to reach a certain threshold, and you don't want to cut your time too short. So don't schedule your exam too early. Just take your time, study it, study what you need to study, and then take it when you need to take it. Okay, tip number 9 would be to, due to the situation that's going on now due to COVID, a global pandemic, embrace online learning. Because guess what? There's nothing you can do about it. Like, you can't cry about it and say that, ooh, I want to go to class in person. Guess what? You just gotta adapt, and you gotta adapt to the online learning. A lot of people don't like online learning, but we're just trying to make it through. So if you have a positive attitude towards the online learning, I think that it would be better for you to actually grade-wise, as well as a positive attitude towards life. A lot of those times, that especially in nursing, you need to realize you need to embrace change. Because change is going to happen, whether it's a change in your patient, whether it's a change in your hospital policy, something like that. You have to try to be resilient and just to go with the change and try not to make a big deal about it, unless it's like unethical or anything like that. Then you step up and you're like, no, I'm not about to do this. But if it just comes to a change and you're not really used to the change and it makes you a little bit nervous, it may take you a little bit longer, but try to be as resilient and as positive as possible. Especially as being a nurse, you are going to have to be on the front lines no matter what is going on. And you saw that based on the pandemic that we are going through currently. So try to get that learning in, because sis or sir, whoever you are going to be on the front lines very, very soon, no matter what's happening. So get that education so we can have you part of the team. And the last tip that I have is tip 10. Do not get discouraged. It's going to be hard, but do not get discouraged. If it was easy, everybody would do it. You know what I mean? So it's going to be hard. You're not going to ace every single test that you get. And that's just something that you have to understand. That was hard for me. That it was definitely a hard pill to swallow when I was going through nursing school. Sometimes you're going to get that B, and sometimes you're going to get that C. And it's something that you learn from that. You do those remediations. You meet with your professor a little bit more. Or it may have just been a bad exam. You may have just been going through a hard time. And that is going to happen, but do not let one bad test or one bad quiz get you down and get you discouraged from getting your degree or your nursing degree, whatever it is. We are people. We are not robots. Mistakes are going to be made. You are not going to be perfect at every single thing that you do. Let's say you may be good at peds, but you're not good at maternity nursing. Gonna happen. You may be good at mental health, but you know, pathophysiology, that's a rough class. And if that's the case, just study a little bit extra harder at that patho class, because all of the classes that you take in nursing school is either going to be on your NCLEX or you're going to see that in the field. So I think that taking the time, taking a breather, not being so hard on yourself is super duper important. Okay, so those are the 10 tips that I had for you guys. I hope that it was helpful. Hope it gave you some positive energy and vibes that was coming to you. Maybe this hit you at a good time and it's gonna help you to keep pushing forward, because the new semester is starting very soon. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below if you have any more questions, you want to discuss anything, get some off your chest. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you comment down below if you want to. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye, beautiful.